disconnect. All right. Am I on? Let's just make sure I'm on the right. Am I on the right user, right page here? We are live. Just gonna see if anyone pops in here. It's usually how I know if we're on the right page, is I'll see people jump on. So we're just gonna take a moment.
Is this the Humboldt Redwoods or district?
We're on the district right now. Yep, that's all right. Okay, looks like we are on. All right, there we go. Perfect. See some familiar faces on there. See Bud. Hi, Bud. Hey, Marnin. Awesome. I can't believe we've got service here. That's great. Hello, greetings. Hello, my name is Ryan Spencer. I am the interpreter 2 here at the North Coast Redwoods District, and the North Coast Redwoods District is part of California State Parks. We manage 22 different parks, but we are not in any of the parks today. We're actually in a sanctuary. This is a part of sanctuary forest land. It's actually an easement. The actual owners are the Humboldt Redwood Company, and they have been so generous to allow us to visit a really important tree that has been kind of a flagship tree in more modern redwood protection and old growth awareness and things like that. And so with that, we'll introduce some of the people, some of the key players that are on our talk today. So I'm gonna flip the camera around here. So we are joined here by Erika Granadino. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, I am Erika. I am the interpreter at Humboldt Redwood State Park, and I am so happy to be here. We are also joined by our guide, Mike Miles. Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, Mike Miles. I'm a forester with Humboldt Redwood Company. It's great to have you here at Luna.
Awesome. We've also got another guest here.
I'm Bradley. I work in roads, trails, and resources.
Awesome. So we are here at, as we mentioned, the tree Luna, and maybe I'll just pass it over to you, Erika, and go ahead and take it away.
Totally. So some of you have seen some of my programs, or if you've already been a part of my online ports program, you know that I have been sharing about the history of the redwood preservation. And we're talking and highlighting a little bit more about the women that helped preserve the redwoods. And we have talked to you about Laura Mahan, women's clubs, and all these other awesome clubs and women's groups that helped save old growth redwood. But today we have a really special opportunity to be with another tree that was that was actually saved by some women's action. And it wasn't just some women. She actually wasn't even from the area, but when she came here, she saw something that she felt passionate enough about that she wanted to do something about it. And that person was Julia Hill Butterfly. You may all have heard of her before, and it wasn't really that long ago. It was probably around 20 years where she actually went up this tree and sat there for 738 days. That is like over 2 years. Can you guys imagine camping for that long, let alone tree sitting for that long? It is insane. But you know, she didn't do it by herself. She had help from friends and other environmental organizations, namely Earth First, who helped her, sent her supplies, everything she needed to have that stake out for over 2 years. We're so happy that these sorts of actions led to a lot of awareness when it comes to old growth preservation. But it also led to the saving of this tree and the sanctuary that now surrounds it 200 miles around this tree. So we're so thankful that her action led to Luna being saved. And we're gonna explore a little bit since we're actually here. We actually got to be invited to this awesome tree. So there are some things that you notice as soon as you come in, and those are these sorts of metal things that are just like holding it together. You may also notice that there is somewhat of a cut. This tree has been somewhat vandalized. It has gotten better, and you know, due to some of the care and the protection and the ongoing treatment that does happen for this tree, they've tried to restore it so that it is in better shape. In fact, this cutting right here, if you come closer, you can see that there is something kind of holding it together. And I was actually super impressed to find out that it is mud. And there's a sealant, there's a lubricant in this mud that you may not think. I was not sure that this was even a thing that people use. And it is bear spit. I wanted to ask you guys to guess, but I don't even think you can guess that. So that is an insane little story, and I don't know if I can put you in the spotlight so you guys can like share a little bit about how that came to be, and just to kind of talk a little bit of how you guys have an ongoing, you know, like way of how you guys treat for this tree, or how you guys help this tree, you know, stay.
That'd be great.
So interesting tree, Luna, and of course interesting story with Julia Butterfly Hill. But after the tree was set aside and conserved by the previous landowner, the Pacific Lumber Company, and a 200-foot easement was put around to protect the tree, some poor soul came up here one day and tried to cut the tree down. And they made it all the way around the tree till it gets too steep on the backside, where they then gave up and left. And so Sanctuary Forest, along with, at the time, Pacific Lumber Company, were in charge of protecting and conserving the tree. And somebody came up to inspect the tree and found that it had been cut, it had been violated. And so the word went out, and the first thing that happened, interestingly enough, was that the millwright down at the local mill here in Scotia, engineer, they put together a plan and built these staples, and these are custom-made staples out of the machine shop at the Scotia Mill, and these were manufactured immediately to secure the tree and hold it, so the winds wouldn't blow it over right after the cutting happened. And so, and then also you can't see it here very well, but some cables branch out and hold the tree in place, and those were especially important right after, again, that tree was cut. So those are anchored into the ground. So that was great working together, Sanctuary Forest and Pacific Lumber Company at the time. But the other part that's really interesting, like Erika said, was somebody said, well, we can actually heal this kerf, and the kerf is being where the cut happened. And science at that time said, no, you can't really heal. Once the cambium layer has been cut, a tree cannot heal it, and that's actually how you can kill a tree, if you cut all the way through the living cambium layer into the heartwood. But someone else said, no, there's old medicine, and you can actually take some local clay, if you mix it with bear spit and pack it in there, and that will help the tree heal. And Luna, or Julia, she was the one that said, yeah, I want to do this to help heal this tree. And so again, people got together, they found a local source of mud from here on the hill, and then they went down to Sequoia Park, the zoo here in Eureka, and they swabbed a black bear from that zoo and got some bear spit, mixed that stuff together and packed that kerf in. And so it goes all the way around. And the amazing thing is that the tree appears to be healing itself. So you can see the cut comes around, but the tree has since healed over, created some new burls, some new living tissue. And the tree gets tested every so often, and it's in very good shape, good health right now.
Yeah, you said that the needles get periodically, someone comes here and tests the needles to make sure that the tree is in good condition. So
they climb up, they grab some needles, and they send it to a lab in Berkeley, and then Berkeley can kind of read the health of the tree. And
so you're a forester, and so you probably have some experience in forestry science and things like that. So what can you tell people about, like, what makes redwoods unique in their ability to live long or regenerate?
No, redwood, of course, is a remarkable tree. It only grows here in Northern California, Southern Oregon at this time in our geological history. So it's a little niche. It likes the coastal area with fog and needs plenty of water. But the fact that the redwood tree, it can enjoy open sun situations, but it's also shade tolerant, so it can grow in different environmental conditions. Of course, it stump sprouts. So these are little baby lunas right here. Growing off of the same DNA, and so it's remarkable that way that it can grow from its own stump, or if it falls over, it grows off of itself. Certainly long-lived. It's got incredibly thick bark, so this tree has been through through who knows, dozens of fires at minimum, and it's able to resist those fires. The redwood itself is incredibly disease resistant, so it's a good building material, particularly old growth redwood. And of course, I mean, the habitat that a redwood this size provides in terms of cavities and large limbs, and so you'll have a lot of different things living and taking advantage of a tree like this and calling it home.
Yeah, and like a story like this, I mean, I think we would be remiss not to just mention that this is a great example of people working together. At the time, I mean, there was a lot more controversy around the movement of redwood preservation, and there was the redwood summer, and what was it, '89? There was a lot of action that was it was controversial. I have family who were on both sides of redwood preservation. There was and redwood use. So there was people that were I had family that were loggers, worked in mills, and things have changed a lot in the way that that redwoods are seen and the way that redwoods are managed from some of those old days. And so it's kind of this is, I think, an example of where we have an example of a lot of people working together, whether you're on the forestry management side, whether you're on the preservation side, and so this is kind of like a testament where it's. Could you say something about, like, because a lot of people, when they think of redwoods, they think old growth, and I know as far as the Humboldt Redwood Company goes, you mentioned something earlier about your approach to old growth here, which was that let me just flip that around. So it's like, here's an old growth. You say there's more old growth within the management area. How is that viewed? How is that seen?
Yeah, so we're, this is a large ownership, privately owned ownership, and all the old growth on this ownership is set aside for conservation. So we don't log old growth. We have occupied marbled murrelet conservation zones or areas. So these are murrelets are living in these old growth stands, privately owned old growth stands. So so conservation of the old growth redwood, that's part of our management policy and principles.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of people, when they, we talk about redwoods, and there is only about 4.5% of the original old growth redwood forest remaining from sort of post-contact, Euro immigrant contact. So there were once 2 million acres of old growth. There's about 4.5% of that. It'd be like if there was 100 people in a room, and then suddenly there's only 5 people left. Everyone else had to leave. But people forget that a lot of redwood have grown back since then, and a lot of redwood forests are in second growth stands, and some very healthy second growth stands. And there's still a lot of timber production that happens not within our parks. Our parks have a different mission. Their mission is preservation. Their mission is providing people places to view old growth redwoods. But there's a lot of redwood forests. The majority of redwood forest is under private management and still being harvested and regrown and managed for our use. So there are different approaches to the management and recovery of redwood forests, and it's just great to see an example like Luna here, where we have this mix of a bunch of different interest groups that really worked to protect a tree like this. I'm going to stop hogging the floor here and just kind of pass it back and see if there's anything else you wanted to share with us, Erika, about your connection with this tree. Or
well, I mean, it feels, I guess, just like being a woman, and like obviously you guys know, I interpret for the redwood trees, so it is kind of just like a kind of an emotional connection of like being in a place where like another woman that also like has like similar a similar appreciation for like redwood old growth. So it's really nice to have that connection, to like be in a similar place. And you definitely like, I don't know, it's pretty exciting, and it's emotional, to be here. It's super cool. And to be honest, I was a little underwhelmed. I was like, wow, like we see so many really big trees at our park, and like this isn't like a really like huge, giant, like insane old growth tree. But nevertheless, it's something that she felt a connection to, and she to climb up this tree and like help save it.
Let's see if there's any questions here. I think some people are asking us to speak up a little bit. I hope you'll appreciate that we're also trying to maintain some social distancing here, so I'm sorry if you're not able to hear us totally well. I'll try to move things a little closer here. And looks like a lot of "can you speak up?" So hopefully my recommendation is watch this video again and really turn the volume up, crank it up.
Yeah.
And we'll try to speak a little louder. Are there any other questions? Hello, MacArthur Bernie Falls has joined us too.
Hello.
Greetings. And let's see, anything else? All right, well, it looks like there are no other questions, but feel free to leave a comment, pop a comment into this this video, and we'll look back at and respond accordingly. With that, I want to say thank you everyone for joining us, and especially thank you, Michael, for letting us come out here and being our guide. And thank you, Erika, for kind of initiating our interaction out here. So with that,
thank you guys for all being here. This is such a great time, and for those of you at home that haven't gotten to see Luna, this is your chance to check out Luna, because like we said, it is on private land, so we're not recommending any of you guys to come up here, so watch the video.
Exactly.
That's how you guys can see Luna. All
Awesome.
right, enjoy. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.
bye. All right.